Welcome to the Family First Retirement Podcast with George Politarhos. For more information, visit betrayawealth.com. Now, let's get to the show.
The biggest cuddly Cupid I've ever seen in my life. His name is George Politarhos. How you doing this weekend?
I'm wearing pink today. See that? I'm doing good, Mark. How are you, my friend?
All geared up and ready to go for this
Good morning, everyone.
romantic weekend. What does Valentine's Day look like for George and his beautiful bride, Leslie?
Well, it starts with a bed of rosebuds, petals laid everywhere through the house. Now, you know what?
If you were being, I laughed, and then you kept going. I was like, oh, my God, he's serious.
You know what? I truly believe that every day is a great day, and I love my wife. So every day is Valentine's Day. We're very, we've been married going on 33 years, and we are quiet about that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make dinner like usual. We're going to have a nice surf and turf dinner, lobster and filet, and maybe go to the movies, just relax. Nothing
Perfect.
special for us.
Yep.
Alex and Anna want to go out. We can kidnap
Little
Mr.
Archer?
I truly believe that we try to make every day Valentine's Day.
I love that.
I really do.
It's funny you say that because I'm the same way. Me and Gretchen have been going on for 15 years. Yeah, we still celebrate. We love each other, blah, blah, blah. But for me, as a girl dad, I love leaving the hearts and the candy and the notes all over for Caroline.
My dad used to buy my sisters. My mother got flowers for Valentine's, candy. All my sisters got candy and flowers from from Daddy.
Yeah.
When they were growing up until the day he died, which
Yeah.
I think is just magnificent. I think that's great thing to do, Mark.
And I'm telling you, I like to think I'm a big, tough guy. But the first time, she'll be like, Daddy, will you be my Valentine? Oh, my God. Yes. What kind of car do you want? Do you want the newest iPhone? You can have it.
Now you have to worry about your daughter's in 7th grade, Mark.
Man, don't even say. I know what you're going to say. I
No, I'm
swear,
saying,
if she comes home with
boys
Valentine's
around
from
here,
boys.
I was saying, imagine that.
No, boys are stupid.
Oh, that lucky young man.
Boys are dumb. Betrayawealth.com, P-A-T-R-I-A. Betrayawealth.com, 302-330-2166. And George, as we're talking about, Valentine's is all about partnership. So what happens when health issues, Social Security, or readiness complicate retirement timelines? George, how can couples coordinate different retirement dates without all the emotion that's involved?
Well, I really go back to having a plan. Everything you do is planned, I think. And sometimes we overplan for things, especially vacations. But I think for retirement, it's really important to have that plan. And a prime example is, I'm not supposed to say this, so I'm probably going to have Leslie make a stink guy at me. Les is coming up on that Social Security age of 62, where she's able to turn on Social Security, and she retired last year. So the other day we were looking at the statement, and she goes, what do I do? Should I take this? Now, and it's whatever the number was. And our whole time, our plan's been no. This is not, we don't need the money. She's working here at the firm, Chief Culture Officer, CCO of Portrayal Wealth. So I don't think we need to do it. But that doesn't mean that in 2 months after she turns that magical number, we can't turn it on, or 2 years or 5 years. It's about having the plan. And I truly believe when you work together with that as a couple, the reason we're holding off, especially for Les, is I'm younger. My full retirement age is 67. And when I turn mine on at 67, which I will do while I'm still working, because I'll be full retirement age, there are no limits on how much I can make, she gets a step up, right? So when we die, Mark, she doesn't get to keep both Social Securities. We know that. She gets a step up to whichever one's higher. Les will be taking mine at that time. And that's really important, I think, because when we talk about ladies, as a rule, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a married couple and you're the same age, we know our health issues are different for everybody, but as a rule, our female counterparts will outlive us by about 6 to 8 years in retirement. That's 6 to 8 years that you'll be there without him being there, your significant others. And when I talk about planning, the real important thing here is that we're on the same page, because 72% of all females in the United States will be either single, widowed, or divorced in retirement. 3 out of 4 of us will be by ourselves. And I have that situation with my sister Angie, who works here at Portrayal Wealth. Her husband Spanky had passed away going on 5 years ago. And Angie was younger, much younger than her husband, but she's in retirement by herself, so to speak. That's why it's so important to have a plan. When we talk with you and we go over that, when you give me a call at 302-330-2166, these are things that we address and talk about. And I always sit, when I talk with a couple, Mark, I always tell you about the importance of having a team mentality. Because, and you and I have spoke about this, my friend, couples come in and folks, inevitably, when I speak to someone, I'll say, what accounts do you have? One person knows all the answers. What's your allocation method? One person knows all the answers. What's the passwords? One person knows all the answers. What's her income plan? Raising the hand. What is your retirement plan? What tax strategy?
Yeah.
That one hand goes up from everybody. He or she is the leader, the CEO of the family, so to speak. And I know Leslie and I have jobs within the house. We're all different about that. We have our jobs, but we know what each other's doing. So we have one person that's in charge. The other partner is the person sitting on the sideline eating bonbons. And what happens when the person, the CEO, is no longer with us, they have gone home, or they're unable to continue the job? The bonbon person is now promoted to a job that he or she never wanted, doesn't know the plan, has never been trained for. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest part of working with us, is having that income strategy, that plan, a written income plan, a written retirement plan, knowing where the team's going. When you call me at 302-330-2166, we're going to work on that, because one person could be the CEO. Great. God bless you. Take it all. But the other person, the other partner, needs to know what the heck we're doing. So if something happens, I'm not completely lost in the woods.
Yeah. What's the biggest challenge that you find when a spouse passes away? They're doing this by themselves. What do you find some of the challenges they face are?
Is that they didn't understand what was going on. We have a lot of clients where the wife is the decision maker in that family.
Right.
So it's not just, I don't want anyone to think we're cutting lines here. But the spouse left behind is, I didn't know we did this, or I don't know how this works, because they were not involved in that process. We renovated our kitchen, must be 8 years ago. Ask me what color it is, Mark. I have no clue. I live there. I don't have a clue. We had the designers come in. I'm like, oh, I like this. And Leslie and Jared said, no, you don't. We like this. But that's what this is about. You have to be active in that situation. You need to know what's going on. Yeah. And you don't have to make the decisions, but we need to know the plan. And one of the things that we do here at Betrayal Wealth is when you work with us and you become part of my big fat Greek family, we put together everything in a book. So when you sit there, you're going to open the first page. It's going to show a list of all the accounts that we manage for you and work with you. The second page is a note to your beneficiary. So when something happens, you know who to call, because you're not going to be thinking straight. Mm-hmm. Now, that first page, why is that important? Well, it's important because what happens when someone passes, Mark, you're not thinking straight for a while. There's a blackout moment almost where you're not seeing things clearly. You're making rash decisions. This puts everything in a calm status where we're all sitting there very calmly because we have it in writing. We can take a breath. When you work with my team, unfortunately, we go to funerals for our family members. We go to a lot of happy moments, weddings, christenings, graduations, bar mitzvahs, you name it. But we have those times when our family members pass.
Sure.
And I hate that when I lose a friend and a family member, but I'm happy because I know who's left behind is taken care of. And we're going to be there for that whole time, not just the good times, but for those sad times too, to make it better. When you call us at 302-330-2166, that's my job, is to make sure that your loved ones are taken care of. When something happens, that's what we're here for.
George, I love that you brought that up. A booklet, a guide for the next step in life. And George will help build that out for you as well. PATRIA, PetraeaWealth.com to meet George and the team and to schedule that initial no cost, no obligation consultation. Hey, real quick, how is Leslie loving retirement?
Loves it.
Yeah.
Loves it. Les is back to horseback riding. Mm-hmm. She did that as a young girl. Now she's back and doing it. And I'm so happy that she's enjoying it, especially in this bitter cold, which I would not be doing.
Yeah.
Just so we know, it's bitterly cold here. But 2 weeks ago, I guess, she was at the barn and the horse got out of the pasture, a few of the horses, and it was kind of slippery at the time. Well, she took a spill down this incline where she came home and her hand looked like it went through a meat grinder.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, oh, did the horse bite you? Because I get, these horses are big. And she says, no, I fell. I was trying to save the horses, from run. I said, were they able to run anywhere, Les? She goes, no. I'm like, oh, good Lord. Thank God you're retired. I said, they're in the pasture, right? You found out it's, well, yeah, but I just, I was like, okay, it's great.
I really thought you were going to say she came home all beat up and her hands all gnawed up, and you were going to say, well, save the horse, ride a cowboy. Sorry. Come on now.
That's for Valentine's Day. Thank you.
Love that. PortrayWealth.com. PATRIA, PortrayWealth.com to meet George and the entire team from the Portray Wealth Group. So, George, you were talking about Leslie taking her Social Security. Well, not too long from now, she might have to start pulling on those RMDs. You got to start taking those at the age of 73. That's when Uncle Sam tells you you have to start spending the money. So, of course, the government can get its taxes. Studies show that about 24% of retirees, they do it wrong and take too little out of their RMDs. 7% of adults don't do it at all. So, George, let's talk about that here for a second. Have you had to help anyone through this, and what was the outcome like regarding their RMDs?
It's confusing for people. We talk about the income plan, the Family First Retirement Plan, Mark, and it has many different factors to it. We have an income plan, where the money's coming from in retirement. We have a tax strategy section, how we keep more of our money in our pocket legally and morally acceptable. We talk about a withdrawal plan, Social Security plan, the whole 9 yards, Medicare. The biggest thing about this is those RMDs. Because let's take an example. People think that, let's say you have 4 accounts, and they're all qualified. So a qualified account, once again, folks, is a 401k, an IRA, a TSP, a 403b, something that we have not paid taxes on for retirement. Okay, went in pre-tax dollars, and you've never paid tax on it. As Mark just said, the government at a certain time wants their money. Mm-hmm. We've waited all these years. It's time to start paying us. And that's the required minimum distributions, RMDs. So let's say you have 5 accounts or 4 accounts, and you're getting those RMD letters in mid-January. And what that is taking your account balance at the end of the prior year. So December 31st of 2025 value. And they come to you, and the one says you had to take $5,000. One says you had to take 8. One says you have to take 20. One says you have to take 3. Whatever those numbers add up to. So people think either A, I have to pull out of each individual account the money they told me, and they make a lot of mistakes. They don't take out enough. They made a mistake. They forgot, because we're getting older now, right? We have life on our hands. Yep. But you don't have to. You can take that value that's required out of one of those accounts, which is most advantageous for you. Mm-hmm. For example, let's say we have a managed funds here that we manage for you in-house, qualified account. Let's say you have an IRA, you have an annuity with us, and you have a 401k. Well, if that managed fund's doing really well, which right now they're doing really well, it may be more beneficial to take it out of that account that's raising in value. So we can take all that $40,000 out of this one account. We get the check, we pay the taxes, we're good to go. Let's invest it, let's spend it on the family, the balance. But if you don't do it, the tax consequences are huge if you make a mistake. So let's make sure we understand that. The second thing is making sure that you already took your money, and maybe you already did. And I'll give you a prime example. I have a client, she is 73 this year, just turned 73 January. She's from Coatesville, Pennsylvania, and she is a widow. Fantastic woman. She has a annuity with me. One of the companies we do is accumulation, so it builds value every year. We have an income rider annuity. So she gets a lifetime payment for the rest of her life. So let's be 100 years old, she will never run out of that income stream. And then she has money here, TSP, her thrift savings plan. She's an ex-federal employee, and their retirement plans of a TSP, thrift savings. So she got the letter from the 2 accounts I have that we manage.
Right.
And the RMD is $29,000. Her income stream from that qualified account is substantially more than that. So we satisfied all our required minimum distributions. I have to get the number for TSP to make sure that we add up correctly, but we're already taken care of. So in essence, what does she have to do now, Mark? Nothing. Just keep her lifestyle going the way it is. And that's what's having a financial team behind you and a tax strategy helps so much. When you give me a call, 302-330-2166, that's my job to make sure you don't think about this. That's my job. Let me worry about this. Let us tell you what we need to do, where we're going to pull from, how we're going to get it satisfied. And really, it's about making sure we have that legacy going forward. making sure we're making the right choices for the next generation. Because most of us are going to live a best life possible in retirement, do as much as we want in retirement. And if there's money left over, we're going to pass it on to our kids, churches, synagogues, charities, whatever it may be. Let me help you live the life you want and be able to do the legacy plan that you want to do if you want to and how you want to. Give us a call at 302-330-2166. You're getting those letters now, folks. You've gotten those letters now. Let's make sure the numbers add up and you know where you're going to pull these funds from to be the most profitable possible.
Boy, you said a big buzzword right there, George, talking about legacy. Let's talk about that here for a second, because if you have an elderly parent, there may be some inheritance coming your way. It's known as the Great Wealth Transfer. A lot of people leave that as their legacy to their family. There was a Market Watch article that said many of us are not ready for the issues that could come with that. So when it comes to either receiving an inheritance or passing on your legacy or an inheritance, what are some of the big issues and challenges that you see, George?
There's a saying out there that children that inherit businesses from their family, most of them go bankrupt or they go through the inheritance funds within 13 months of retirement, of the passing. 13 months. You need to know what's going on. I really think it's important, Mark, and what we do, I like to meet the children and grandchildren of our family members, only because I want them to know who I am and how we're working.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we talked earlier about having the proper tax strategy in place and making sure we keep more of our money in our pockets than given to the government, and making sure we do it legally and morally acceptable. Always have to say that because I do not look good in orange. I know that. But we sit there, and I have a client coming in now. She has 2 sons. She is 93 years old, and she's a widow, and she has done a phenomenal job. Lives a very simple life, has a lot of disposable money and investments. So we came in. My biggest conversation with her is, what are we going to do with this funds? Well, when I die, it goes to the boys. And I look at things differently, and everyone has a different look about this. When we're sitting there, why not take advantage of some gifts today? I want to see my Alex and Jared. I want to see them happy today. So we gift money to our children when they need it, if they need it. And that's our job. We can do that. So my idea is, why don't we start gifting some of this money now? Let's start taking away the tax consequences, because kids are going to have taxes, right, from the inherited money. Let's start gifting this to our children, grandchildren now, if we have the funds to do it. It gives them pleasure right away. We get to see what they're doing with it. We get to pass on that with little taxes to them. There is no tax obligation when we do tax strategies like that and gifting funds. But that's the importance of making sure we work forward and how we're going to do this. The other side of this, not having a proper tax strategy, is you're 85 years old, Mark. Pass away, you called home, and you have monies put aside, qualified funds, IRAs, 401ks, that now is going to your children. And let's say your children are in that highest earning years of their career. They're that 40 to 55-year-old group. They're in probably the most money they're going to make. They're in their peak earning years. Do you think it's important to have a strategy in place and let them know who to work with and how to help them? Because they have a big problem, Mom and Dad. They're getting money on top of their income. How are they going to do it without giving it away to the government?
Yeah.
That's why I think it's really important about tax strategies, how we're going to talk. And one of the things I find I think the greatest wealth I have, and I've said this before, Mark, is Leslie and the boys. But after that, passing on that monetary wealth to them and making sure that we can do it the right way is great. We have a lot of clients who are older, who have been with us for so many years that I'm their second son, their fifth son, whatever the story may be. That's how they look upon us as part of their family too. And when we meet their children, they know that we're looking out for their babies. And my mother, God bless her soul, to the day she died, she called me her baby boy. And, you know, I say that because Alex and Jared, I call them boys. Yeah. And they roll their eyes. But that's how parents look in their kids as they get older. But we sit there and we plan for them. The kids know who we are. So we're looking at how we're going to maximize the income stream for them and minimize the taxes. And that goes with the legacy planning that we put in place. Call us at 302-330-2166. Help us let you think about outside the box. How are we going to move this to our children? How are we going to plan accordingly? The kids need to know who to talk to. How they're going to make sure this taxes are spread out We can do either immediate distributions or over 10 years. There is no more stretch IRA per se. The government got rid of the generational wealth transfer in that way. Generational wealth is you could pass on from generation to generation. They got rid of that. But now we can play within the new rules. We know the rules.
Okay.
We know the game. Let's work with that. Call me at 302-330-2166, and let's start that tax strategy. I'll have Ernie Calais sit in with us, make sure we're on the right path, and then make sure you're working the best way possible.
It's funny you said you still call your boys. They're grown men, but you still call them your baby boys.
Always be my babies.
My mom still calls
Always
me
be my boys.
by my brother's names. My entire mom calls me Matt or Sam, which are my two older brothers. She calls Sam Mark. She calls me, she even calls me Fred, our old basset hound. Like, she's called me everything but at the end of the day.
Well, you look like that a little bit, Mark. I mean, I don't want to hurt your feelings.
I'm a little droopy and slobbery. So.
Insurance and annuities offered through George A. Politarhos, Delaware Insurance License Number 1373121. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties.